Good morning, students. As the elders have told us wisely that patience and perseverance pays in these turbulent times. Today, we are going to have an insight into a first PUC topic, what we call animal kingdom. You know the diversity of it, you know the magnitude of this topic, and to know this, we will start from some of the fundamentals or basics of this topic. When you look at the animal world, we see fascinating diversity. We have got an ant, we have got human beings, we have got frogs, butterfly, birds, whales and whatnot. Right from microscopic organisms to macroscopic organisms, we see not only the difference in size, but the way an organism's body, an animal's body is built. To have a deeper insight into this topic, it becomes necessary to know some of the meanings, I can say, of some words. Let us say all of us begin our journeys from a single cell named zygote, of course, which is a product of union of sperm and an egg in case of a biparental population. This single cell, how does it become fascinatingly diverse animal world? We are going to have a short insight into it. Zygote divides, and we call this pattern cleavage. Type of cell division here is cleavage. It divides first into two cell stage and later into a ball of cells, a solid ball of cells called morula. As you all know, this morula later grows or develops into a hollow ball of cells called blastula. This is a hollow ball of cells. There is a cavity here. And when we look at this ball of cells, there is a single layer of cells, you can say. Later this develops into a multi-layer structure which has more than two layers of cells, and we call this structure gastrula. What do we call it? We call it as gastrula. Now the question is, how exactly these single layer structures, monolaminar structures, become two or three layered structure? It is part of developmental biology, and this entire process we call it as gastrulation. Now with this, there is a hole, there is a pore to this entire structure, and this pore we call it as blastopore. What do you call it? Blastopore. And here comes the difference. Here comes the difference in the organization of the body or laying up of the body. If this blastopore develops into anus and if it develops into mouth, here comes the classification or the basis. If this blastopore develops into mouth, we put them under protostomes. Proto means first, stoma means mouth. And if it develops into anus, we call them as deuterostomes. So having known this, let us go further. Now let us have a look at this. Having known what exactly protostomes and deuterostomes are, let us go further into it. Cleavage is a type of cell division that we see in developing embryos, or you can say zygote divides by cleavage. And cleavage is spiral and determinate. What do you mean by spiral and determinate cleavage? Here the word spiral refers to at about 8 cell stage. You can't see 2 cells here, they are behind this particular structure, and these cells are arranged at an angle as new and new cells are formed. Whereas in case of radial cleavage, what do we see is cells are aligned right one on the top of the other. What is determinate and indeterminate cleavage? In case this is zygote and this is the 2 cell stage, accidentally if these 2 cells they separate into 2 independent cells, these may grow into 2 organisms, or you can say 2 bodies. It means you might have heard in the other topics that occurrence of twins and so on. This refers to totipotency of cells. Cells are totipotent. They can lead to formation of complete organism. It means if this cell separates from the other, it develops into a complete organism. Similarly, if this cell separates, this is going to develop into complete organism. So that's why it is called indeterminate type of cleavage. But in case of determinate cleavage, it doesn't occur. Some questions, and as and when the words appear, we will go for its explanation. Look at question number 1. Topic is animal kingdom, unit is B2, and question number 1 reads so. Choose the incorrect statements from the following. You need to be very cautious here, because what it tries to ask us is to choose incorrect statements from the following. For that, there are 4 options. Option number 1, all triploblastic animals may not possess true coelom but contain mesodermal layer. Option 2, all coelomate animals are triploblastic and all acoelomate animals are diploblastic. Here we come across 2 words, that is diploblastic and triploblastic. Okay, what exactly the meaning of diploblastic is? Having 2 germ layers. And what is triploblastic? Having 3 germ layer. So you have got diploblastic condition and triploblastic condition. Now diploblastic and triploblastic condition. As figure 4.2 in your textbook of NCERT, it shows very clearly what exactly diploblastic condition is and what exactly triploblastic condition is. In diploblastic condition, we get 2 germ layers. How many? 2 germ layers. In triploblastic condition, we have got 3 germ layers, embryonic layers. Okay, what are these germ layers? We can say here we have got ectoderm and endoderm, whereas in case of triploblastic condition, we have got 3: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. I hope everyone is well versed with these 3 cellular layers, that is ectoderm, outer one, mesoderm, middle one, and endoderm, that is the inner one. Better we recapitulate the derivative of this, what this ectoderm is going to form in future organism, what this mesoderm is going to form in future organism, and what the endoderm may give rise to in an organism in future. We call them as ectodermal, mesodermal and endodermal derivatives as such. Of course, that part of this particular studies gets into the realm of developmental biology. Now, let us look at the question once more. Coelom is mesodermal origin and is present between gut and the body wall. Here comes another word named coelom. Now, dear kids, look at these slides. Now, the A is coelomate animal, B is pseudocoelomate animal, and C is acoelomate animals. Where is the animal? They are actually the cross sections of animals. When you take a section of these animals, this is what we can see, and to study the internal anatomy, it becomes necessary to take sections in biology. Now look at that diagram. A is a coelomate animal because we can very clearly see a body cavity named coelom. Can you see that? Body cavity, coelom? Yes. What exactly this coelom is? Coelom is equal to body cavity, where we can see many other organs placed. Now what exactly this acoelomate condition? Absence of body cavity. Acoelomate condition means body cavity is absent. It is not present. Then there is a third category as it is mentioned in the picture here, diagram here, that is B. When we take the section of a nematode worm or Ascalminthus, we can see such a condition. We call it as pseudocoelom. Now what is the condition? What exactly a true coelom and pseudocoelom is? A true coelom is lined by mesoderm. Can you see that? Whereas in pseudocoelomates, we can't see such structure. There is a difference between these. This is very fundamental biology. We have this basis of classification on what? On presence of body cavity and absence of body cavity in the first place. And the second place, how exactly these body cavities are formed. Let me go further. When we take the word coelom into consideration, we have got the way the coelom is formed. One is schizocoelous, another one is enterocoelous. Look at the 2 ways the coelom is formed. One is enterocoelous and another is schizocoelous. In case of enterocoelous condition, outpouching of the gut wall can form the coelom. This is the coelom here. Okay. Whereas in case of schizocoelous condition, splitting of mesoderm, this middle layer actually is mesoderm. And this splitting of mesoderm forms the coelom. When coelom is formed by splitting, schizos means to split here, splitting of mesoderm, we call it as schizocoelous coelomate animal. Whereas outpouching of this gut wall or cellular rearrangements here, when they form the coelom, then we call it as enterocoelous condition. Now you know the words like what is coelomate, what is acoelomate, and what is pseudocoelomate, and the way they are formed, enterocoelous and schizocoelous condition. Now look at the question number 1 again. Choose the incorrect statement from the following, and in our present understanding, we can very clearly mark the answer. Option is only 4. an incorrect statement what they have asked. All triploblastic animals possess true coelom and mesodermal layer. No, you look at that chart please. Here we get a very clear classification of animal kingdom, wherein when you look into the chart, Animalia, multicellular animals, you have got cellular level, tissue level, and symmetry comes in between. With the true coelom, look at that, with true coelomates, annelids up to chordates. And with false coelom, we have got aschelminthes or pseudocoelomates. And without body cavity, we have got platyhelminthes. But remember, all these are triploblastic in nature. That is why when you get back into the question number 1, option becomes all triploblastic animals possess true coelom and a mesodermal layer. That is the answer here, only 4. Option is 4, only 4. Now let us get into something called symmetry. It is also a basis of classification. Now look at that particular figure 4.1 given in the animal kingdom. They have shown a picture of a polyp perhaps, that shows that it can be divided in many radii or any plane into 2 equal halves. So many radii. Along the radii, if you can divide an organism's body into 2 equal halves, we call the symmetry to be radial. Got it? And when the organism has such a circular shape or a plate-like form, definitely you can guess that symmetry can be radial. But if we look into the organization of comb jellies like Plurobranchia and other animals, here only along 2 radii we can split an animal, we can divide an animal's body into 2 equal halves. Then we call that symmetry biradial symmetry. Or one more option here, one more diversification here. Look at the starfish. When we look at this starfish, can you split really its body into 2 equal halves along the radii? Yeah, you just attach the notch with the apex. Notch with the apex. You can divide this animal into 2 equal halves at almost 5 planes. That is why the symmetry here is pentaradial. Did you get that? Pentaradial symmetry, you can call it as pentaradial. There it is biradial symmetry. Here it is penta, means what? 5. Along the 5 radii, we can divide the animal's body into 2 equal halves. Now tell me students, now look at this particular animal. Does this look like a bird? Show me how you can divide its body into 2 equal halves. Can we go like this? No. We need to arrange this animal in proper way to know its symmetry. Now look at this. I'm just changing the angle or my view. This is the same bird, you can guess. You can divide its body into 2 equal halves at one plane, making it bilaterally symmetrical. What's the meaning of bilateral symmetry then? If you can divide the body of an organism into 2 equal halves at only one plane or a single plane, we call this particular symmetry as bilateral symmetry. Can you tell me whether elephant is radially symmetrical or bilaterally symmetrical? Now let us have one more animal, that is elephant. Elephant. Where is the elephant? Of course, drawing the front is a bit difficult. So I have gone the other way. Now tell me whether this is radially symmetrical or bilaterally symmetrical. Definitely, we can divide its body into 2 equal halves at one plane, making it bilaterally symmetrical. Having known what exactly the symmetry is, now let us look at the question number 2. How does it read? The radial symmetry is observed in, options are platyhelminthes, coelenterate, aschelminthes, annelids and echinoderms. If you are not that good with this word, you can just imagine or remember one among the organisms or representative organisms. Platyhelminthes, you can have some examples. Similarly, coelenterates, aschelminthes, the worms, nematodes, annelids, what like earthworm and all, and echinoderms like sea urchin or brittles or whatever it is. Now, the radial symmetry is observed in how many of these? 2 and 5. Coelenterates, as you all know, are radially symmetrical, and you can see it in your NCERT textbook figure 4.1. If this is a polyp, this is a bottle-like form, and this is medusa, that is a swimming bell or jelly-like form. With reference to coelenterates, there are many more points here. Whenever we come across them in the paper, we will have an insight into them. As I have told you, radially symmetrical animal, it can be divided along the many radii into two equal halves, and bilaterally symmetrical animals, it permits us to divide its body along only one plane to be divided into two equal halves, and that's why option here becomes 4, 2 and 4, that is annelids and coelenterids. Do they have really radial symmetry? Just check out that the radial symmetry is observed in Platyhelminthes. We get this type of symmetry. Coelenterids, yes, 2, we get radial symmetry there. And echinoderms, definitely yes, we get radial symmetry there. That's why the best option here is option number 4. Now let us pick question number 3. Bilateral symmetry can be defined as any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves, forms option number 1. Option number 2, any plane that passes through the center that divides them into equal halves. Let us switch to the option number 3. The body can be divided into identical left and right halves in only one place. I think we have stumbled upon the right answer, but it is necessary to check option number 4 too. The body cannot be divided, let me underline that sentence, cannot be divided into identical left and right halves in only one plane. As you have known, as you have meddled up a lot, we have beaten around the bush about the radial and bilateral symmetry. Let us jump, or let us have the right answer picked here immediately. The option is 3. The body can be divided into identical left and right halves in one plane only. That's why the option here is option number 3. Answer is number 3. The body can be divided into identical left and right halves in one plane. Let us switch to the question number 4. The figure A up to D shows 4 animals from non-chordata phyla. Select the correct option with respect to a common characteristics of these animals. That is, I is equal to radially symmetrical, 2 is equal to bilaterally symmetrical, and 3 is a symmetrical animal. Look at that starfish or starfish-like animal which is represented by the letter A. The symmetry is radial, whereas in case of the jellyfish, in case of phyla, in case of the corals or the sponges, whatever it is, the best solution or the answer here is option number 3. That is A, B, D have what kind of symmetry? That is radial symmetry, and the C, where is C? C is Phyla globosa, which has bilateral symmetry. Next, let us switch to the next question. Question number 5. Codes A to H are representatives of the kingdom Animalia. A is equal to Cycon, B is equal to Nereis, C is equal to Plurobranchia. As you can remember, you must be able to remember their phyla too. D is equal to Adamsia, E is Trudio, that refers to an ostrich. Chelone, I think that indicates marine animal. Ophiuria and Euspongia. Here symmetry is abbreviated as asymmetrical. It is represented by the letters A, S and Y, whereas bilaterally symmetrical, perhaps it is represented by B, S and Y. Radially symmetrical is represented as R, S and Y, and yeah, that's it. Now choose the option which gives the correct combination of answers. About radial and bilateral symmetry, we have done enough. The answer is number 2. Asymmetrical one is A and H, bilaterally symmetrical is B and E and F, and RSY is C, D and G. Let us get into the next question. Now let us have an insight into the sponge's body. A sponge. What exactly a sponge is? Is it exclusively marine? No. We do have some of the exclusions here, some of the exceptions here. Question number 6, when we take up water transport system in sponges flow in the following direction. Now let us assume that this is our sponge under study. Definitely sponge body is porous. That's why we put it under the phyla. What do we call it? What is the word that we need to remember at this particular juncture? That is porifera. Pore bearers or poriferans. Porifera. Here the body is having lot of pores through which water enters into the body and water leaves out through the body, or water leaves the body through a larger pore. These smaller pores, we call them as ostia, whereas the larger pore is called oscula or osculum, singular. O-S-C-U-L-U-M, osculum. Okay, and plural is osti. Yeah, here oscula, oscula and ostia. Ostium is singular, oscula is plural, osculum is singular, oscula is plural. If I dissect the body of a sponge, this is what I may get. This is what we call the spongocoel, the cavity. And here we do have the canals like this. Canal system in sponges, as you all know, it can become basis of classification and it is unique to sponges. Water enters through these particular pores which we call ostia. It enters the cavity named spongocoel. This is spongocoel, and it leaves the body of the sponge through osculum. That's why the best answer is option number 1. Question number 7. Choose the correct statement related to phylum Porifera. They are multicellular organisms with tissue grade of organization. Yeah, definitely. Is it so? No, let us check. The body is supported by skeleton made up of spicules or spongin fibers. They are exclusively marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. And the fourth option is fertilization is internal and development is indirect, having a larval stage which is morphologically distinct from the adult. Choose the correct statement of phylum Porifera they have given. Look at statement number 2 and statement number 4. Statement number 1, they are multicellular organisms with tissue grade of organization. To have an insight into it, look at the slide that is being provided. Slide. First. This one. Look at that. This is the broad classification or broad, what you call, animal kingdom being described in chart form. Kingdom Animalia, we have got multicellular animals. Level of organization is cellular level. Definitely sponge body has lot of cells, but these cells, they are not arranged into tissues. They are just loose aggregates of cells. They are asymmetrical animals, body cavity is absent, and only one phylum we have with such a arrangement of cells which has only cellular level of organization, that is Porifera, to which these sponges belong. Okay, now let us look into the statement again. The body is supported by skeleton made up of spicules and spongin fibers. Of course, in the sponge body, the supporting structure here, they can be spicules and fibers. Okay, 2 is correct. They are exclusively marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. Asymmetry, okay, we can guess that. How you can divide this particular animal into 2 equal halves? No, body is asymmetrical here. But the first half of the sentence, they are exclusively marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. Exclusively marine. Don't you think we do have some doubt here? Definitely yes. We have got one family of sponges, Spongillidae, to which Spongilla belongs. Spongilla is a freshwater sponge. Spongilla is a freshwater sponge. Often we find it green because of its association with algae. Did you get that? Which are the plant species. Now, this Spongilla being freshwater sponge, this statement doesn't become completely correct. They are exclusively marine. No, some of them like Spongilla are freshwater forms. That is why for question number 7, the best option becomes option number 1. That is 2 and 4 statements are correct. Others, they don't fit into, or they don't get the advantage to become an answer. Option number 1 is for question number 7. Let us pick the question number 8. Question number 8. Unlike other animals, sponges and coelenterate. Sponges and coelenterate says, and the option is lack of triploblastic condition. Option 2, possess cell walls. Option 3, lack true tissue and organs. And option 4, exhibit bilateral symmetry. Let us have an insight into this particular chart. Look at this. Sponges, they have cellular level of organization. Symmetry doesn't apply here. Look at that. Some are asymmetrical. Body cavity or coelom is totally absent. And phylum, only one phylum we get there, that is Porifera. Now let us look back into the question. Question number 8. Unlike other animals, sponges and coelenterates lack triploblastic condition. We have gone with these words already. Triploblastic and diploblastic conditions. Triploblastic conditions indicates having 3 layers of cells here. Unlike other animals, sponges and coelenterates lack triploblastic condition. Here definitely the coelenterates, they are diploblastic and they are not triploblastic. That's why the best option here is option number 1. Let us pick up the next question. Question number 9. Question number 9. Look at that. The diagram shows in the following figure. Diagram shown in the following figure. x is function r dash. Look at that. That is the deadliest thing that we can see in the coelenterates. And what they have shown, something like a sac with a huge whip. This is definitely a stinging cells. What do you call? Stinging cell. And this stinging cell, as you all know, is nidoblast or nematocyst, you can say. And a coelenterates, usually they have batteries of such stinging cells which can definitely inject neurotoxic poison. That's why very often when you go around the beach, parents, they will warn you, or the guide there will warn you not to touch any jellyfish, not to touch an animal that you do not know, because they may have these batteries of stinging cells which can inject neurotoxin poison, paralyzing the prey. That's why for question number 9, the best option is option number 2. Let us get into the next question, that is question number 10. Mesoglea is option number 1, an undifferentiated layer is present between ectoderm and endoderm. Yes, in the question or option number 1 itself, we have hit the right answer, but let us not neglect the other options too. Option 2, cavity between ectoderm and endoderm, definitely that cannot be the option. Option number 3, central cavity or sponges. No, that is spongocele as we look into the diagram. And the question number 4, mesoderm layer is present in coelenterates between the ectoderm and the endoderm. Best option here is option number 1, that is undifferentiated layer is present in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Let us switch to the question number 11. Now let us take up question number 11. Question number 11, it reads, so which of the statements related to phylum Coelenterata is wrong? Coelenterata, Coelenterata. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animal. Coelenterata, Hydra, how you can forget? Hydra, the freshwater animalcule. Definitely freshwater animalcule it is. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. Yes, generally marine they have said. They have not used the word exclusively marine. Option number 2, or there they have statement number 2, they have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening mouth on hypostome. Yes, of course, if we dissect Hydra like this, we get such a structure wherein mouth is the only opening for entry and exit here, anus being absent. The statement number 3, digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Definitely yes, when it takes up the food here and it is broken down partially and later it gets into the cells that are involved in digestion. Fourth one, Aurelia is a sessile form. Which of the statements related to phylum Coelenterata are wrong? They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals, it says, but Hydra is well known for its symmetry. Coelenterates are well known for their radial symmetry. That's why option number 1 doesn't fit into the answer. Similarly, the option number 4, Aurelia is a sessile form. Is that true? No. We have two types of forms here, what we call polyp and medusae. Look at this. A polypoid form is a bottle-like form or a hydra-like form in general. This is what we call polyp. Medusa is a free-swimming, free-living form. We can see this is medusa. Bell-like form is medusa, bottle-like form is polyp. With reference to coelenterates, there is an interesting phenomena that occurs here. The polypoid form may give rise to medusoid form and medusoid form may give rise to polypoid form. Medusae are sexual forms and the polyps are asexual forms. This is what we call alternation of generation or metagenesis, not metastasis. Metastasis is a word that we use in case of cancer biology. Here what we call metagenesis, or in very simple terms, alternation of generations, meaning alternation of sexual and asexual forms. Now let us get into question number 11 again. The best option is option number 1. That is option number 1 and 4. Let us take up the question number 12. Assertion: aquatic annelids like Nereis possess lateral appendages and parapodia. Reason: parapodia are modified locomotory organs help in swimming. Both appear to be very much true, and that's why the option is 1 for question number 12. Option is 1. Both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Now let us take up question number 13. Question number 13. Body organization in coelenterate and platyhelminthes are dash and dash respectively, and we have got 4 options. First one cellular and tissue form, second one tissue and organ grade form, third one cellular and system grade, and fourth one organ and organ grade. Dear kids, let us look into the chart again. Look at that. It is very much given in your NCERT textbook, wherein the basis of classification wonderfully they have been narrated. Look at this. Look at this here in the body organization. Without body cavity or coelomates, you have got platyhelminthes with false coelom, pseudocoelomates and all. Tissue or organ system level of organization. Let us come back to the question. Question number 13. Body organization in coelenterates and platyhelminthes are dash and dash respectively. Here tissue and organ grade of organization. See, there are many definitions of tissue you have already learned, and coelenterates, as you know, they have tissue grade of organization, group of cells which have common origin, which are specialized to perform a specific function. We call them as tissues. Whereas in case of platyhelminthes, we get organ grade of organization. That's why the best answer here is, best option here is option number 2. Let us switch to the next question, that is question number 14. Medusa and polyp body plans are typical to which group? Just now we have discussed about this. Just now I have narrated the story of polyp and medusa. That's why the option is option number 1, that is cnidarians or coelenterates. Okay, let us take up question number 15. Metagenesis. Just now I have told you what exactly metagenesis is. Alternation of generation, wherein sexual form alternates with asexual form, and asexual form again gives rise to sexual form. We should not confuse here the word metagenesis with metastasis. I am stressing this again. Now let us look into the sentences. Polyp is a free swimming form and by sexual reproduction produces medusa. No. And medusa is a sessile form, by sexual reproduction produces polyp. No. Question option number 2. Polyp is a sessile form, by sexual reproduction produces medusa, and medusa is a free swimming form. Of course, medusa is a free swimming jellyfish-like form. Polyp is a bottle-like form, that is sessile, sedentary. Most of the times it doesn't move, only it makes movements whenever necessary. But this is a free swimming form, medusoid form. So when you look at jellyfish, can you tell me whether it is medusoid form or polypoid form? Definitely, anyone may answer. This is a medusa. Medusa, M-E-D-U-S-A, medusa. That is why here for question number 15, the best option is option 3. Polyp is a sessile form and by asexual reproduction produces medusa. And by medusa, by sexual reproduction produces polypoid forms. Polyp is a sessile form, by asexual reproduction produces medusa, and medusa is a free swimming form, by sexual reproduction produces polyps in some of the coelenterates. And this is what we call alternation of generation. And as we get 2 distinct, morphologically distinct body forms in a single species, don't you think it is a sort of polymorphism, having more than 1 body forms? Of course, yes. Let us go to question number 16. Question number 16. Look at that. The following figure shows diagrammatic sectional view of an animal. This TS can be of, you can guess right now, because here we have got the coelom, but you can see it is not lined by the mesoderm. It must be a pseudocoelom, wherein they have mentioned the pouches, and definitely the answer becomes 1. Option becomes 1. It is Ascaris. It is a nematode worm belonging to Aschelminthes. Fasciola, it belongs to flatworms. Pheretima is annelid, and Ascidia is quite different from this. For question number 16, answer becomes 1, that is Ascaris, the roundworm that causes ascariasis, about which you will have a bit of detailed studies in second year PUC. Topic is health and diseases. Let us switch to question number 16. 16 we are done with. Question number 17. Question number 17. Match the following items given in column 1 with column 2. Choose the option which gives the correct combination of answers. Apis. Apis is honeybee. So let us match A with yes. Apis. You know, Apis is a useful insect as it is mentioned in your book. It is an arthropod insect, arthropod insect, and it is known for its pollinating abilities. Limulus is king crab. Limulus. Limulus is again an arthropod king crab. What do you call it? King crab. Limulus. Locusta is a gregarious pest. It is a pest. Locust. You may be knowing, you may be having some information from reliable sources that these locusts can form swarms and damage a lot of crops. And when we know Limulus, king crab, it is mentioned in your book, it is living fossil. Why is it called living fossil? We get this in fossil records, as well as we get this one as an extant organism, not extinct organism. Extant organisms, even today, very often we do not find the animals that we get in fossil records in the present times. For example, do we get dinosaurs? No, we get dinosaur-like animals, but not exactly the dinosaurs. But in the fossil records, as well as in the living condition or extant condition, we get Limulus or king crab. Orissa coast is very famous for this, right? And the option number B, look at that. Aedes, A-E-D-E-S. What exactly is a vector is? Vector is equal to carrier. You know, most of the mosquitoes, they are the carriers of the diseases, they are the vectors for diseases. That's why the answer here becomes option number 4. Answer is option number 4. Let us switch to the next question. Question number 18. Question number 18. The greatest number of described species is found in which of the following group of organisms? And there are 4 options. Option number 1 is kingdom Plantae, second one is phylum Chordata, third one is subphylum Vertebrata, and fourth one is phylum Arthropoda. I think we have hit the right answer. Option is 4, that is Arthropoda. And you must be knowing about insects and their number here. Question number 19. In the classification of animals, following codes are used to describe different terminologies. For example, for open circulatory system, A for closed, B for coelomate C, or coelomate D, bilateral symmetry and all. And here we come across in question number 19 2 more words, that is circulatory system, that is open type and closed type. In the open type of circulatory system, blood flows through ill-defined channels like blood spaces or blood sinuses, what you call. Heart is present, but there are no blood vessels. So in a layman's language, we can say there are no blood vessels to carry the blood. Whereas in case of closed circulatory system, when the circulatory system is of closed type, blood flows through well-defined channels. It means there are blood vessels. Well-defined channels means there are blood vessels. Presence and absence of blood vessels here. Open circulatory system, blood flows through ill-defined channels. It means there are no proper blood vessels here. Whereas in case of closed circulatory system, as me and you have here, blood flows through well-defined channels called blood vessels in case of closed circulatory system. Let us go further and look at the other options that we have here. Bilateral symmetrical is radially symmetrical, metamerism, unsegmented and segmented worm. This metamerism is a word that we have a look into. Metamerism, or you can say repeated segments, external as well as internal segmentation. And here we should remember annelids, right? Good. Now, metamerism, absence of appendages, external fertilization, internal, oviparous and viviparous. We have got 2 more words, oviparous and viviparous. Perhaps you have acquaintance, you know this word, oviparous and viviparous, right from grade 9. Oviparous means egg laying, whereas what exactly viviparous means? Viviparous means giving birth to young ones. Giving birth to young ones. Giving birth to young ones is viviparity, and laying eggs is oviparity. Both of these are related to the reproduction in organisms. Now, if the code is for phylum Arthropoda, the codes will be, it means in general they have asked some of these important words that will link with phylum Arthropoda. And for question number 19, answer becomes 2. Arthropods Yeah, option is 2. They have got exoskeleton, they have got even some other features like chitinous exoskeleton, jointed appendages, open circulatory system and all. Here the best answer for question number 19 is option 2. Now, in mollusk, mantle cavity is present between muscular foot and visceral hump, no. Head and foot, no. 3 hump and mantle, and fourth one, calcareous shell and hump. The option is for question number 20, option is 3, hump and mantle. Now, let us have exoskeleton in picture. We have got exoskeleton in arthropoda as well as in mollusca. How does it differ? In arthropoda as well as in mollusca, we have got exoskeleton. In arthropoda, we have got chitinous exoskeleton. Yes or no? In case of mollusca, we have calcareous exoskeleton. Now, what fundamental difference you find here? This particular exoskeleton, which is calcareous exoskeleton, doesn't grow with the body. It means it needs periodic shedding of exoskeleton, which you call ecdysis or molting. Whereas in case of mollusca, this calcareous exoskeleton, it grows along with the body. Grows with body. You know the shell, it grows. You take the example of Zancuspirem or ceremonial trumpet, what you call shankha. Here the calcareous exoskeleton it has, that grows with the body. As the body grows, even this calcareous exoskeleton grows. So this is an insight into the exoskeleton. Now, we are in question number 20, option is 3. Let us switch to question number 21. Animals belonging to the following groups are usually hermaphrodite except flatworms, leeches, echinoderms and sponges. We have hit the right answer here. Option is 3 for question number 21. It is the echinoderms. Let us switch to the next question. That is question number 22. Let us pick question number 22. Proboscis gland, flame cells, dioecious condition and bioluminescence are well marked in A, B, C and D respectively. Choose the answer which gives the correct combination of what? Correct combination of alphabets. Bioluminescence is a property of organisms to emit light, and for question number 22, as it looks, option number 3 becomes the best answer. Option number 3. Question number 23. The figures depict representative illustrations of 4 categories of animals. Which of these animals show metameric segmentation? See, metameric segmentation is external as well as internal repeated divisions of the body which are annular or which are ring-like. Look at the brittle star. Do you see any metameric segmentation there? No. Perhaps the second one is roundworm. No, we don't see any such things here. Tapeworm is showed pseudosegmentation perhaps, and option D, Nereis, which is an annelid. That is why for question number 23, option is 4, only D. Question number 24. Select the phylum that represents both marine and freshwater representatives. Ctenophora. Ctenophora are comb jellies, they are exclusively marine. Urochordata, phylum that represents marine and freshwater representatives. Select the phylum that represents both marine and freshwater representatives. Third one, Cnidaria. Cnidaria, they are coelenterate, what you call. We have got hydra, we have got jellyfish. One is freshwater, another is marine. Aschelminthes, they are internal parasites. Select the phylum that represents both marine and freshwater representatives. Select the phylum that represents both marine and freshwater representatives. Here for question number 24, option becomes Cnidarians. We have got hydra, we have got even jellyfish. One is freshwater and another is marine. The answer here is option number 3. Take question number 25. High regeneration capacity is exhibited by, first one is Obelia, coelenterate, second one is Pleurobrancia, that is a relative of coelenterates, what you call Ctenophora, and third one is Fasciola, fourth one is Planaria. For question number 25, option is 4. What exactly this regeneration is? Regrowing the last body parts. Did you get that? Regrowing the last body parts. Self-amputation of body parts is autotomy. Opposite of this is regeneration. Question number 26. Match the following organs given in column 1 with the animals given in column 2 and their corresponding functions given in column 3. An organ may have multiple functions. Choose the options which gives the combination of answers. Now look at the option number 1, water vascular system, and it is given tinea and P is excretion. No, that doesn't match. Water vascular system and canal system. You know, you need to remember these words. In case of sponges, we have got canal system, and in case of echinoderms, we have got water vascular system. Second one, radula, B is bungarus, third one is protection. Radula is rasping organ in mollusks. Now that can be nidoblast, aurelia, respiration. See, nidoblast, aurelia, respiration. Nidoblast, aurelia and respiration. Nidoblasts, where do you find them? Nidoblasts, we find them in coelenterate. Aurelia is jellyfish, and it says respiration. Let us switch to the next option. Scutes, scales and scutes. You can find them scutes in what you call crocodile-like animals, aplysia, see here and all, and locomotion. Fifth one, flame cells. Flame cells are found in flame cells. The other name is solenocytes. Where do we find them? Solenocytes, we find them in platyhelminthes, and their function is excretion, asterias, and food capture or feeding. And there are two more options, transport of food and anchorage. Transport of food and anchorage. Now, let us look at option number 3 here. Option number 3. Option number 3, I is equal to water vascular system. We can see it in asterias, yes. And U, what is U here? U is transport of food, okay. Now, in that, the second point, there is second one, radula. We can see it here in D, aplysia, of course. And 3, C is equal to Q. What is Q here? Protection, C. And Q, nidoblast are for C, and they are for protection. Yes, we have got the right answer perhaps here to question number 26. Option is 3. Now let us look at question number 27. Read the following keys. A is digestive system, B is respiratory system, and C is circulatory system. When you have a thorough insight into it, we get the answer as option 4, that is C and D. C, I, A, present and complete, B, C are absent, C and so. For this, for question number 27, option is 4. Pick up question number 28. Identify W, X, Y and Z and choose the option which gives the correct combination of answer. It is all about symmetry, exoskeleton, nephridia, circulatory system, monoecious and dioecious conditions, and so on. When we have a thorough insight into this particular question, for this we get the answer. What is the answer for this? Bilateral symmetry, chitinous exoskeleton. 4, W, arthropoda, X, echinodermata, Y, annelida, and Z, mollusca. Now have a look at this particular table, what they have provided. In that bilateral symmetry, W, X, Y, Z, W, you look at that. Chitinous exoskeleton, where do we see it? We see them in arthropods, and so is the open circulatory system and dioecious condition. The second one is radial symmetry. Radial symmetry, where do we get it? You know, you have to list the what you call phyla that do have or that do show this radial symmetry. For question number 28, option is 4. Look into question number 29. Assertion. Fertilization is internal and development may be direct or indirect in roundworm. Reason. Female is longer than male in Ascaris. Now here comes the word development, and here comes the word what you call indirect or direct development. When there is larval form, we call the development to be indirect, and when there is no larval form, we can call this development to be direct. As I told you, we have started with a sentence. Most of us have, all of us have begun our life with a single cell, what we call zygote, and zygote develops into an embryo that later takes the shape of an entire organism. Now let us have look at these two words, growth and development. You get that? Look at that. This is an egg. Does this look like an egg? Yes. This is an egg, I say. This egg hatches into, this doesn't speak, it is dumb, it is non-motile, seldom it shows very less signs of life as such or an animal as such. This grows into a small, highly noisy, you can say a chick, a wadding bird. And here, this one fine day, develops into a cock or a hen, as you all know. Okay, now look at that. This particular phase, there is no much difference in the shape of the body. We call this one growth. Irreversible increase in volume and mass or size and weight of the body. Whereas here there is drastic change, and we call this particular phase of life development. Having known how exactly these two words, growth and development, they go hand in hand, let us look at what exactly direct development and indirect development. Now look at this. This is, I can say it's a caterpillar, slow, sluggish, lazy, voracious eater, and it dreams of being a butterfly. Look at its developmental process. This particular caterpillar, one fine day, it becomes what? It may become a butterfly. Now look at that. So in this case, the larva, the young one, doesn't resemble the adult. Yes or no? Look at their life histories and look at the way they live. Larva, it doesn't resemble the adult. It undergoes drastic changes. Here, the dimension of the development or change is so much so that we call this particular process as metamorphosis. What do we call? Metamorphosis. There is complete metamorphosis, incomplete metamorphosis, which we'll be studying in the topic structural organization. This is just a glimpse. Now, if we look at question number 29, fertilization is internal and development direct or indirect. When there is no such larval form, we call the development to be direct, and when the development involves a larval form, definitely we call it as indirect development. So fertilization is internal and development may be direct or indirect in roundworm. Reason, female is longer than male in Ascaris. When you look at the diagram given in your NCERT book, it very clearly mentions female is a bit longer when compared to the male, whereas the male has a shorter body but it has curved end. The male and female Ascaris here can be identified very easily. Assertion and reason both appear true, but here option is for question number 29. Question number 29, option is both assertion and reason are true, but the reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. Let us take up the next question, that is question number 30. Now look into the question number 30. Fill in the blanks. 1. Elementary canal is complete with a well-developed muscular pharynx in dash. Second one, shell is made up of calcium carbonate is present in dash. And third one, in amphibian with tail and limb is dash. Fourth one, arthropod is different from annelids in having dash. Fill in the blanks. Look at that. The option 2. Elementary canal is complete with a well-developed muscular pharynx is in roundworms. Second option, shell made up of calcium carbonate is present in mollusks. Amphibian with tail and limb is salamandra, and arthropods differ from annelids having jointed appendages. That's why question number 30, option becomes 2. Answer is 2. Question number 31, choose a mismatching combination from the following. Mismatching combination: flatworms, coelomate and hermaphrodite, roundworms, coelomate and dioecious. No, roundworms are not coelomates. Annelids, coelomate and hermaphrodites. Fourth one, coelenterate, diploblastic and stinging cells. They have asked us mismatching combination from the following. That's why for question number 31, option is 2, roundworm, and the wrong option there, coelomate and dioecious. Question number 32. Functional system of specific physiological functions are not seen in. They have asked not seen in. They have given many options: arthropoda, mollusca, annelida, porifera. Specific physiological functions. Ctenophora, Coelenterata, Echinodermata. Functional systems for specific physiological functions are not seen in. Try to understand the gist of this question. Look at option number 2, 4, 5 and 6. 4 is Porifera, 5 is Ctenophora and 6 is Coelenterata. Do you get organ grade of organization here? No. 32. For question number 32, option becomes 2. Let us go to the next question. Question number 33. Select the correct combination: locus, Malpighian tubules and circulation. Perhaps they want to check whether the function of these three they match and all. Doliolum, gills, respiration. Fasciola, paired nephridia and excretion. Carcharodon, placoid scales and protection. Here let us get into the type of scales. As you all know, Carcharodon, placoid scales and protection, these three words are typical to chondrichthyes or cartilaginous fish. These placoid scales or dermal denticles, they look like this. And where do we find it? We find them in an animal like what you call shark. Yes or no? So placoid scale. For that reason, for question number 33, the answer is 4. Question number 33, answer is 4. After having a thorough insight into question number 34, we get the answer option 4. That is, they contain exoskeleton, there is spongilla and the platyhelminthes. This is what we have. See, look at that. Arthropods should not be placed in group B's because they contain exoskeleton. Dash an example for the organisms represented by group E. Third one, octopus and sepia can be classified into group dash. Then phylum dash can be included in group D. Now look into the question number 35. Question number 35. The adult organisms are radially symmetrical, but larvae are bilaterally symmetrical, and they are triploblastic coelomate animals. These are the characteristics of, undoubtedly, they are the characteristic features of option number 1, that is Echinodermata. Look into question number 36. Phylum Mollusca can be distinguished from the invertebrate phyla by the presence of, option is 2, the mantle and the non-segmented body here. Look into question number 37. If A is Chetoplura, B is Culex, which is a mosquito, C is Encyclostoma, worm, D Physalia, E Antedon, F Iridinaria, G Plurobranchia, Fasciola. Arrange the animals in their ascending order of evolution, that is simple to complex, and for that question number you need to take into account coelom, you need to take into account triploblastic and diploblastic conditions. For that reason, for question number 37, the best answer becomes option number 4, that is D, G, C, H, F, B, A and E. Let us get into question number 38. A student collected an information of 4 specimen we suspect to related to 5 phyla. Match the characters of column 1 with the phyla in column 2. Choose the alphabet which gives the correct combination of answers. One must be, if it characters of specimen 1, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, cuticular, exoskeleton, open vascular system and sexual dimorphism. So these are the features of, they appear to be the features of what you call arthropods. Bilateral symmetry, true coelom, triploblastic, ring-like body segments, annular segments, and closed vascular system, and monoecious. So B becomes Q. They are the annelid characters, and for that, for question number 38, option is 1. Let us go to question number 39. In question number 39, identify A, B and C in the given table. Choose the alphabet which gives the correct combination of answers. So mollusca, they have indicated B, bilaterally symmetrical with organ grade of body organization. Here the option for question number 39 is 4, that is bilaterally symmetrical organ grade of body with head and muscular foot. Typically they are indicating mollusk, and B can be Aschelminthes and C jointed legs. Let us get into question number 40. A child brought home a strange animal. It was found beneath a rock. Okay. It means it is a land animal. Let us presume that the animal had a moist skin, a complete digestive tract, a calcareous shell, and an unsegmented body. It must be an animal that appears something like this. Can we call it a mollusk? Can we call it something like a Pila globosa? Perhaps yes. For question number 40, option is 3. Question number 41. All the vertebrates do not possess. Question number 41. They have asked, do not possess. Kidneys do we have? Yes, of course, vertebrates, they have got kidneys, vertebral column. Vertebrates, definitely they have coelom. Yes, dorsal heart becomes the answer for question number 41. Option is 1, that is dorsal heart. Now let us have a look at this. I am trying to present a typical vertebrate body plan. Dorsal hollow tubular nerve cord, a solid supporting rod notochord, and pharyngeal gills. You might have learned them. All these are typical chordate features. Am I right? And with this, let us get into question number 42. Question number 42. Which of the following group of 3 animals each is correctly matched with their characteristic morphological features? Here the option becomes lancelet, flying fox, dogfish, dorsal nerve cord. Lancelet, flying fox, dogfish. Flying fox is bat and dogfish is shark, and all these they possess dorsal hollow tubular nerve cord. For question number 42, answer becomes 3. Now question number 43. Choose the correct option for hemichordates. For question number 43, option number 1 appears to be the most appropriate option. Look at that. Eye circulatory system, it is open, respiration is by gills, excretory system is by proboscis glands. Yes, for question number 43, option is 1. Question number 44, it is based on the diagram which is provided there. For question number 44, monoecious and dioecious, coelomate and coelomate, metameres, all these features we have discussed a bit earlier. For this, the option is 3. Option is 3. One of the following group is not a non-chordate feature. One of the following group is not a non-chordate feature. So presence of post-anal tail and ventral heart are the non-chordate. Yeah, here it is. The question option is 2. Question number 46 again is a diagram based option. Diagram based question actually. For this, option is 3. Look at that. 5 and 6. X is dorsal hollow nerve cord found dorsal to the dorsal notochord. Is it so? No. 5 and 6. An animal belonging to phylum Chordata possesses 3 fundamental characters, namely notochord, nerve cord, and gill slits. Identify the correct statement from the following. Dorsal hollow tubular nerve cord. So when I look into Y is dorsal notochord found in ventral to the dorsal nerve. X is dorsal hollow nerve cord found dorsal to the dorsal notochord. Y is dorsal hollow nerve cord found dorsal to a ventral notochord. Option is 5 and 5. X is dorsal hollow nerve cord. That appears to be correct. Nerve cord. And 6. Y is dorsal notochord found ventral to the dorsal nerve cord. Yeah, for question number 46, option is 3. 47. A fisherman collected animal from the sea. The animal has elongated body, pair of eyes and nostrils, and found 6 young ones. Based on this knowledge, the fish might be, see, we need to see here a fish that has internal fertilization and partially internal development. For question number 47, the option is 3, Scoliodon, dogfish, or shark. See, Exocetus is flying fish, Balinoptera is a mammal, whale, and sardine is an oily fish. That is marine fish, Sardinella longiceps, what you call. Question number 48. For question number 48, option is 3. Question number 49. Question number 49. Where identify the wrong difference between chordates and non-chordates. Only look at D. Central nervous system is dorsal, solid and single. Central nervous system is ventral, hollow and double. Option E is 4. And the last question for today perhaps is question number 50. Question number 50, match the following. Here, petromyzon, trigon, hippocampus and branchystoma. A is Q, circular mouth without jaws. Of course, B, trigon is ventral mouth and placoid scale is a cartilaginous fish, and the option here is for question number 50, option is 4. Question number 50, option is 4. Thank you. You have perhaps listened very patiently, and wish you all the very best for your forthcoming examinations.